So today we're going to be doing a review on the new Krytac CRB. Pretty cool gun so far. This review is going to be in a couple of different phases. We're going to show the basic features of the gun. We're going to take a look at some of the internals and check out the velocity, and then we're also going to do part 2 of this video is actually going to include some field trials where we'll actually take it out to the playing field and let some players actually give it a run through. So gun comes in this cool box, actually has the Krytac logo on it, pretty cool. Comes with all the standard stuff you would expect: warranty cards, owner's manual, an actual decent owner's manual that you don't see a lot in guns these days. High cap magazine with a cool little winding tool, which you're going to lose the first time you use it, but you know, nice thought. And there's your high cap magazine, cleaning rod, all the stuff you normally get in a gun package, and it's a cool sticker too, of course. The sticker here. Where's the sticker? Oh, see, I probably already lost the sticker. The sticker, cool little Krytac sticker. You know, you got to promote the product, right? So here's the gun. A lot of cool features. Nothing groundbreaking as far as new technology, but a lot of stuff that we've seen in a lot of other guns, all put together in one package. So first thing we're going to look at is the stock. Typical 6-position adjustable stock. You can actually see the numbers aren't painted, but they are. The numbers are engraved in the top of the buffer tube. May not be a terribly bad idea maybe to go through there with like some white paint or white crayon or something and fill those in and make it a little bit easier. But I mean, who cares about what number it is? You kind of know by feel where you're going to adjust your stock. You've got several different sling mounts. You've got a quick detach sling mount here. You've got the sling loop, so you can mount a sling around the outside. You also do have your traditional single point sling mounts between the buffer tube and the body. Nothing on the front, so that's something you're going to have to add if you want to sling it all the way from the stock to the front. But let's talk about the stock for a minute. Very, very cool. Designed specifically to hold multiple types of batteries. Fairly easy to pop off. 2 little buttons on the side tab. Squeeze those. Here's what's great about it. If you look inside, you can see there you've got your standard Tamiya plug. You've got your automotive type blade fuse. But you can run several different type of batteries. You can go with a nunchuck style battery, slide them right in there. Pretty cool. If you're running a LiPo battery, some small stick battery like this, easily slides in. Plenty of room, even with the fuse, to slide that all the way in there, plug it in. And then if you've got a small LiPo battery, you can actually fit it vertically in the back here. Obviously you got to tuck all your wires down inside there, but there's plenty of room in the back cap where you can actually run the battery vertical if you have a short enough, like 1,000 milliamp LiPo, to fit it vertically in the back. So great thing about that is you can actually hold 2 batteries inside the stock while you're playing a game. If you're playing a long milsim, mission-oriented type game, you can keep 2 batteries with you. That way, if one battery goes dead, you just pop that off, reconnect the other battery in place, and you're good to go. So, pretty cool setup with the stock. Actually, probably my favorite feature of the gun so far. Charging handle, access. Pulls back the fake bolt to access the hop-up, so you can actually adjust the hop-up. The hop-up does click when you move it, and you can hear it click right here. I'll take the gun apart later so you can actually see. You probably can't actually see, I don't know the numbers on that or not, but it is numbered, and it actually clicks. Very easy to adjust it and set it where you want it. And of course, the functioning bolt release, which very, very smooth. You know, I've seen some guns that have this feature. It's kind of clunky. You got to push really hard. You barely have to touch it. And when we take the gun apart, you'll see why it's so simple to move that. Cool little custom trigger guard, nice and big for, you know, wearing either big fat fingers like mine or gloved hands also going to work pretty well. Key mod rail system, which is, you know, in with all the cool shooters these days. That way you can mount your rail attachments wherever you want. You don't have to have a big heavy rail system with a bunch of rails taking up a lot of space and a lot of weight. You can just run the rail system specifically where you want it, and you don't have to create that extra bulk and put rail covers on it to keep your hands from getting all jacked up. 60-day warranty, which is also very good. We are getting to the point in airsoft where we're starting to see a lot more guns include extended warranties, which we haven't seen just a few years ago. Again, we talked about the detailed owner's manual. Price on these, $325. So pretty reasonable for a gun with all these features. We're going to take it over to the chronograph, take a few shots. Then we're going to break the gun apart. We're going to show you some of the internals. I'm not going to break the gearbox completely apart, but I'm just going to show you some of the features mounted onto the outside of the gearbox, including the MOSFET, how the bolt release works, the ambidextrous selector switch, which again, very smooth. When we did our reviews on the field, the field reviews have actually already been done. In fact, this is the unit we used to do the field reviews. We'll talk about some of the players. We'll talk about some of the features. One of the players thought this was a little stiff, and yeah, out of the box it is pretty stiff. I expect that'll break in over time, so that's not an issue. Probably one major issue that I do have is the magazine magwell. It's a little sloppy, a little loose. But nonetheless, the BBs seem to feed perfectly. We've tried some of the KWA mid caps. They fit perfectly with no wobble whatsoever and feed flawlessly. We did have one player who had actually purchased one of these and was playing with it at the same time. He was using the KWA mid caps and said he did have a lot of feeding issues. Yet another player who had also purchased the gun said that his KWA mid caps were feeding flawlessly. So the only real negative we've seen so far is the little bit of the wobble in the magwell, and then of course potential issues with magazine compatibility. But obviously, with any airsoft gun, sometimes you got to find the mags that work best for your gun and stick with those. Okay, so here we are with the gearbox of the Krytac CRB. One of the first things we notice is the quick change spring system, which is actually pretty easy. I tested this out earlier. Some of the other quick change spring systems I've seen are kind of difficult to actually access, but this one, oh, you know what? Let me be Mr. Safety here. Put my safety glasses on, because anytime you're taking a spring out, it can pop across the room. Let's pop this out. Just a quick turn with a large Allen wrench. Pops right out. There you've got your spring guide. Looks like we've got ball bearing, spring guide, metal spring guide with the spring. Obviously easy enough to take this off and put your new spring right in. So it's really simple. You do have to take the gearbox out of the body in order to get to this point, but still a lot faster than some other gearboxes. And we pop that right back in place, lock it back in, and there we go. So simple enough to change the spring. Obviously there you've got, let me get this really close so you can actually see the MOSFET. The MOSFET is actually right there built into the side of the gearbox itself. What that's responsible for is the super crisp and quick trigger response that the Krytac guns have. So it's great to have that built right in there. Functioning bolt catch is actually attached to the gearbox shell itself. It actually locks back in place, and when you hit the bolt release on the far side, it actually activates this little switch right here. You can listen to it as I pop that switch, and we'll look at it from this side. Very crisp and simple bolt catch release. So that's to lock the bolt back so you can adjust your hop-up unit. Do you have a little hole, another hole right in the side there, and that is for lubrication of the internals. You're able to do that without taking the whole gun apart. You can see here the gears for the ambidextrous selector switch, which go on either side of the gun. Wire netting surrounding the wires to protect the rear wires coming out of the back, going through the buffer tube. You've got your automotive fuse here, blade style fuse, and then you've also got standard small Tamiya plug. Now here's something I didn't really know when I first looked at the gun. I was expecting a serial number on the outside of the gun, but we actually found what appears to be a serial number on the gearbox shell itself. So that's kind of interesting for for collectors and for people who are wanting to identify their own unit. Now it looks like it could be just a sticker. I don't know how well that's going to hold on there, but pretty impressive gearbox. We've got here, we have the upper, the barrel and hop-up unit slide right out. Really basic functionality. Here you can see a close-up of the hop-up unit and how it literally just clicks. If we were to get really close there, we can actually see it clicking, and you can actually see the numbers on the wheel, so you can actually tell. Actually, you can see them better there. There are the numbers, so you can see what position your hop-up is in. So that's the stock barrel with the hop-up unit. Pretty impressive so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this thing back together again. We're going to go over to the chronograph, take some test shots, and then send the gun out to the field to let some players check it out.